Welcome, dear family of faith. If you've been following our journey of prayer together, you know that we've witnessed the miraculous power of intercession through the saints. Welcome to Timeless Prayer. You've heard testimonies of lives transformed, prayers that have led to divine breakthroughs, and perhaps you've even experienced miracles yourself. For those of you joining us for the first time, welcome. You've arrived at a pivotal moment. The faithful souls who have been part of this community have been requesting this particular prayer for months, and today, the moment has come to share it with you. What if I told you that, in just the next few minutes, you will come to know a prayer so powerful that it has lifted people from the depths of despair, brought light into the darkest of situations, and granted miracles in times of urgent need. This prayer has been spoken by those facing financial ruin, by parents who've feared the loss of their children, and by those whose hearts were shattered with hopelessness. And today, you will experience the same transformative power through this prayer. Many of you have already encountered blessings from previous prayers shared here, but what you're about to discover could be the most profound intercession we've ever shared on this channel. This is not just any prayer. It is a powerful plea for miracles through Saint Anthony of Padua, the patron saint of lost causes, lost hope, and urgent needs. Saint Anthony is a saint who never fails to come to the aid of those who call upon him with unwavering faith. To those who have waited for this prayer, your wait is over. For those of you who have joined us through previous prayers, this is the perfect next step to deepen your journey of faith. No matter where you are in your walk with God, whether you're just beginning or whether you are a longtime member of our community, this prayer is exactly what you need right now. Whatever it is that has led you here, whether it is an urgent need, a loss of hope, or a desperate situation, you are here for a reason. In these next moments, I invite you to open your heart, to place your trust completely in God's power, and to allow Saint Anthony's intercession to move mountains in your life. As you join in this prayer, you are not alone. You stand united with others in need of divine intervention. Feel the sacred space that is being created, a space where miracles are born and hope is restored. Trust that Saint Anthony, with his deep compassion and unwavering faith, is standing by you, ready to help you find what has been lost. Whether it is hope, direction, or peace, he has answered countless prayers before, and with your faith, he will answer yours too. I ask you now to place your full trust in Saint Anthony's powerful intercession. In this moment, lay down your worries, your fears, and your burdens. With every word of this prayer, know that your plea for divine help is heard in heaven. Know that your heart's deepest desires are brought before God's loving presence. Saint Anthony is here, waiting for you to call out to him. You need only to believe with all your heart and speak your petition with hope and faith. If you have been struggling in your faith or feeling distant, I encourage you to turn to Saint Anthony now. Let your prayer rise with intensity, with the trust that your miracle is just ahead. Take a deep breath, and in this moment of prayer, believe that the change you seek is already on its way. Whatever is troubling you, whatever hope has seemed lost, remember, you are not abandoned. Through the intercession of Saint Anthony, your prayers will be heard, and you will see the hand of God moving in your life. I invite you now to pray with all your heart, to trust in the miraculous power of Saint Anthony, and to wait patiently, for in God's perfect time, your miracle will come. Saint Anthony of Padua, a name revered across centuries for his miraculous intercession, was not always the miracle worker we know today. Born as Fernando Martins in 1195 in Lisbon, Portugal, he began his life like any other young man, unaware that his extraordinary destiny would unfold in God's time. At the age of 20, Anthony encountered the Franciscan friars and their stories of martyrdom in Morocco, and this encounter sparked a profound transformation within him. It ignited a deep hunger in his soul, a desire to surrender completely to God's will, but it was not to be a simple path. His longing to follow in the footsteps of these brave men led him to sail to Morocco, where he hoped to meet his end as a martyr. But instead, God had different plans for him. Sickness struck him down, and he was forced to return to Europe, seemingly defeated by circumstances beyond his control. Yet, what appeared to be failure at the time was, in truth, God's way of preparing him for something far greater. Have you ever felt as though everything you hoped for was slipping away? Like every door was closing in your face, Saint? Anthony experienced that same sense of frustration and confusion. But in those moments of disappointment, we often forget that what we see as setbacks may actually be God's redirection, positioning us for the miracle He has waiting for us. The ship carrying Anthony, now frail and ill, was blown off course and landed in Sicily, far from the place he intended to be. From there, he made his way to the town of Issy, where he found the Franciscans and humbly asked to live quietly as a simple friar. But God's plans for Anthony were far from ordinary. During a ceremony where both Dominican and Franciscan friars were present, Anthony was suddenly called upon to preach. The other friars had all declined, stating they were unprepared. Anthony, who felt inadequate and unworthy, reluctantly agreed to speak. What transpired next astonished everyone present. As Anthony opened his mouth, the words that flowed from him were nothing short of miraculous. His knowledge of Scripture was profound, his eloquence mesmerizing, and his spiritual insight deep. The crowd was captivated by his message. But even more remarkable was his ability to reach out to those who were lost, broken, and in desperate need of hope. Most people know Saint Anthony for his ability to find lost objects, but few understand the true depth of his compassion. His reputation as the finder of lost things began not with keys or wallets, but with something far more precious: lost souls. One day in Rimini, Anthony encountered heretics who refused to listen to the gospel, and despite his frustration, he did not give up. Instead, he went to the seashore and began preaching to the fish. To the amazement of all who witnessed it, thousands of fish swam to the surface. Their heads lifted toward Anthony as he spoke. The heretics, who had refused to listen, saw this miraculous sight and fell to their knees in repentance and conversion. In that moment, Anthony had found their lost souls. He had restored their faith, rekindled their hope, and brought them back to God. This is the essence of Saint Anthony's power. He is the finder of lost things, but not in the way most people think. It's not just about finding physical possessions. It's about finding the things that matter most: lost faith, lost hope, lost love, and lost purpose. If you've lost something precious in your life, whether it's your health, your job, a broken relationship, your joy, or even your connection with God, know that Saint Anthony is there to help you find it. You are not alone in your struggles, and no loss is too great for God's grace to restore. But here's a truth that many miss when they pray to Saint Anthony. His miracles go beyond the recovery of what has been physically lost. Saint Anthony's intercession is a powerful invitation to ask God to restore opportunities that have slipped through your fingers, to reclaim the blessings that you thought had passed you by. When you call on Saint Anthony in prayer, you are not merely asking for help to find something that's missing. You are asking for a divine restoration of what has been stolen from your life. When you pray to Him, you invite God to bring back the blessings that have been lost, to heal the wounds that have remained hidden, and to make whole what once seemed irreparably broken. Take a moment now and reflect on your life. What have you lost? What do you long for? It may not just be physical possessions that weigh heavy on your heart. It may be peace, joy, or a sense of purpose that has slipped away. Perhaps it's a relationship that is frayed, a dream that has faded, or an illness that has consumed your strength. Whatever it may be, I invite you to put your trust in Saint Anthony, to ask him to intercede on your behalf. Pray with a heart full of hope. For Saint Anthony's miracles are not just for the past, they are alive and active today, waiting to reach out and change your life in ways you cannot yet imagine. Do not lose heart in the face of adversity, for Saint Anthony understands the challenges of life. He, too, faced moments of uncertainty and seemingly insurmountable obstacles, but through it all, he remained faithful, trusting that God's will would prevail. And it is this same trust, this same faith, that you can place in him today. Whether you are facing a financial crisis, a health battle, a broken family, or a sense of hopelessness, know that Saint Anthony is with you, interceding for you, guiding you back to what you have lost. When you ask for his help, do so with a heart open to God's grace. Pray with a spirit of patience, knowing that divine timing is perfect, and God's miracles unfold in ways beyond our understanding. Saint Anthony, the finder of lost things, will bring you closer to the heart of God and help restore what has been lost in your life. Trust in his intercession, for with God's grace and Saint Anthony's powerful prayers, there is no loss too great, no need too urgent, and no hope too far gone to be restored. Let your faith in Saint Anthony's miraculous power transform your life, and may you soon witness the restoration of all that you have longed for. With patience, trust, and an open heart, the miracle you seek is closer than you think. For centuries, faithful Catholics across the globe, especially those in Italy, Spain, and Latin America, have found solace and hope in the powerful intercession of Saint Anthony of Padua, particularly in times of lost hope or urgent need. There is a special prayer, often referred to as the miracle prayer, that has been passed down through generations, and it carries with it a profound transformative power. This is no ordinary prayer. It's a channel through which the faithful call upon God's grace through the loving intercession of Saint Anthony, who is known for his special ability to help those in dire need, especially when all seems lost. But before we speak the words of this prayer, it's important to understand why it works. Saint Anthony made a promise before he passed away. He promised that anyone who honored him and called upon him in faith would never be abandoned, no matter how great the challenge. This promise isn't just a comforting thought, it's a powerful truth that is manifested in countless lives. Have you ever wondered why Saint Anthony is so powerful in times of desperation? Why does this prayer seem to bring peace and clarity in moments when you feel there's no way out? It's because this prayer combines three essential elements: the recognition of Saint Anthony's special grace, the acknowledgement of your urgent need, and a complete surrender to God's divine will. When you pray with these three elements, you open your heart to a miracle. It's not about simply asking for help. It's about trusting that God's will is greater than any circumstance. You invite God into your struggle and submit to His plan, knowing that with Him, anything is possible. The prayer to Saint Anthony is a beautiful expression of this trust, one that resonates deeply with the soul. It starts with, "Blessed Saint Anthony, you are the friend of all who invoke your aid and the patron of all who are in distress. You have received from God the special power of finding what is lost and of coming to the aid of those in urgent need. I come to you today with complete confidence, knowing that you have never failed those who have called upon you with faith. My need is urgent, my hope is fading, but my trust in your intercession is absolute. These words are not just an invocation, they are a declaration of faith. When you speak to them, you're not just asking for help, but you're affirming your belief in Saint Anthony's ability to intercede on your behalf, grounded in your deep trust that God will provide, whether your request is granted or not. In moments of desperation, the weight of our struggles can feel unbearable. You may feel like you've tried everything, prayed countless times, and yet the situation doesn't seem to change. Can you relate to that feeling of hopelessness? Have you ever felt like your prayers were unanswered? But here's the beauty of this prayer. It's not about the outcome. It's about surrendering your need, your despair, to God. The words, "You know my situation, dear Saint Anthony. You see the desperation in my heart, the tears I have shed, and the sleepless nights I have endured." Speak to the vulnerability that lies within each of us when we reach out in prayer. Saint Anthony sees the depth of your pain and holds it before God, trusting that miracles happen in the quiet moments of surrender. After acknowledging your distress, you are invited to speak about your specific petition, your request, your deepest desire. The prayer encourages you to express your heart's need, whether it is for healing, financial help, a family issue, or any other urgent need. Saint Anthony, you who experienced God's power in your own life, who saw miracles happen through your prayers, who never turned away from those who sought your help, I beg you to intercede for me before the throne of the Almighty. Have you ever thought about how Saint Anthony's life was filled with miracles? He witnessed God's power firsthand and became a conduit for divine intervention. His intercession is powerful because it is grounded in his unwavering faith in God's ability to transform situations. When you ask Saint Anthony to intercede for you, you are not alone. He stands with you before God, bringing your prayer before the Almighty. But this prayer also reminds us that God's will is always greater than our own. And sometimes the answer to our prayers may not look the way we expect. As you continue to pray, you'll say, "If it is God's will, let my request be granted. If not, give me the grace to accept His holy will and to find peace in His divine plan for my life." This is where faith truly shines in the surrender to God's perfect plan, even when we don't understand it. Trusting God with the outcome means trusting that His ways are always better than ours, even when the path ahead seems uncertain or difficult. In moments of struggle, it can be hard to see the light at the end of the tunnel. But when you pray with this kind of faith and surrender, you invite God's mercy, love, and provision into your life. The prayer continues. Through your intercession, may I experience God's mercy, love, and provision. May this trial be transformed into a testimony of God's faithfulness. Isn't that what we all desire, to witness the power of God's love in the midst of our trials? And finally, the prayer closes with a plea for hope, for steadfast faith, and for the reminder that with God, all things are possible. Saint Anthony, pray for me and for all who call upon your name. May we never lose hope, never stop believing, and never forget that with God, all things are possible. These words are not just a prayer. They are a commitment to trust, to persevere, and to believe that no matter the difficulty, God is always with us. Have you ever asked yourself, what would my life look like if I fully trusted God in every situation? This prayer challenges you to trust, to believe in miracles, and to never stop praying. So as you pray this powerful prayer, remember you are not alone. Saint Anthony walks with you, interceding on your behalf, and God's love surrounds you. This prayer isn't just words. It's a powerful reminder that with faith, all things are possible. trust in the miracle that is unfolding in your life today. In times of deep despair and overwhelming hardship, when it feels like hope is slipping away and the weight of your burdens becomes too heavy to bear, remember that you are not alone. There's a powerful intercessor waiting to hear your cry, a miraculous figure who has never failed those who come to him in faith, Saint Anthony of Padua. As you seek his help, remember that it is not just the words you utter that have the power to transform your life. It is the state of your heart that holds the key to unlocking divine intervention. When you approach Saint Anthony with a prayer, you must do so with specific faith, not with vague hope. Understand that the power of prayer lies not in a general request, but in a focused plea for what you truly need. Saint Anthony responds to those who come to him with a clear and specific request. He knows your struggles, he understands your pain, but to invite his intercession into your life, you must ask for exactly what you need, with unwavering conviction. Do not be afraid to name your need in bold, specific terms. Whether it is the restoration of a broken relationship, the healing of a long-term illness, the resolution of a financial crisis, or the restoration of peace and hope in your heart, Saint Anthony is a saint of miracles, and he will respond to your specific need. But there is more than just specificity in prayer. You must pray with a sense of desperate urgency. This is not a prayer made out of casual routine or a mere desire for improvement. It is a cry from the depths of your soul, a cry for help when all hope seems lost, when every door appears closed, and when you feel like you have reached the end of your rope. The saints respond to those who are in the most desperate situations, to those who are not simply wishing for change, but are crying out for intervention. If you are seeking a miracle, it must come from the deepest part of your being. You must approach Saint Anthony with the faith that he is your last hope, that you have no other refuge but his powerful intercession. It is in this place of profound need and unwavering trust that miracles are born. Do not hesitate, do not hold back. When you pray, let your soul cry out with the urgency of someone who is truly seeking a miraculous change, someone who is ready to be transformed by divine grace. But here is where many fall short. Saint Anthony, in his boundless mercy, is not just interested in performing miracles to make your life easier or to simply take away your burdens. He works through the power of God to bring glory to his name. The miracles you receive through Saint Anthony are not just for your benefit. They are meant to glorify God and strengthen the faith of others. When your miracle comes, are you willing to share your testimony with the world? Are you willing to tell others about the grace you have received, to encourage others to trust in the power of prayer, and to help strengthen the faith of those who may be struggling just like you? The true power of a miracle is in its ability to inspire and uplift those around you. Saint Anthony's miracles are meant to draw others closer to God, to show them that nothing is impossible when we place our trust in the divine. When you receive your miracle, do not keep it to yourself. Let it be a beacon of hope to others who may be in the same place of despair where you once were. Will you make that commitment today? Will you promise to share the miracle that Saint Anthony has worked in your life, to be a living testament to the power of prayer, and to bring glory to God in the process? Say, "Yes, I promise." If you are ready to make that commitment, to be the living proof of the miraculous intercession of Saint Anthony, and to help others find the hope and faith they need to receive their own miracles, as you pray, trust in the process. Know that Saint Anthony hears you, sees your suffering, and is ready to intercede on your behalf. You may not see the results immediately, but trust that divine timing is perfect, and the answers you seek will come at the right moment. Keep praying with a heart full of faith, a soul filled with hope, and a spirit ready to receive the miraculous change that God has in store for you. In the meantime, never give up. Continue to walk forward with the confidence that your prayer is heard, your faith is strong, and the miracle you are seeking is on its way. Under the protection of Saint Anthony, be patient and watchful, for your miracle is near. Just as Saint Anthony has helped countless others, so too will he help you. Trust in his intercession, believe in the power of prayer, and prepare to be transformed. Keep your heart open, keep your faith strong, and be ready to receive the answer to your prayers. Do not let doubt or fear rob you of the miracle that is waiting for you. Trust in Saint Anthony, for with his powerful intercession, nothing is impossible. Your miracle is coming, and it will be a testament to the faith, hope, and divine intervention that brought it into your life. When you're in a place of deep despair, when hope feels like a distant memory and every door seems closed, that is precisely when the powerful intercession of Saint Anthony can work its most miraculous wonders. Many don't realize that there are special times when this prayer seems especially potent, times when Saint Anthony's presence is undeniably stronger. The 13th of every month is one such time, his feast day, which is an incredibly powerful occasion to offer up your prayers. If you have a particular need or urgent situation, this is the day to turn to Saint Anthony for his divine intervention. Another significant time is Tuesday, traditionally regarded as Saint Anthony's Day of the Week. But the most miraculous, the most extraordinary moments often come when you find yourself in the depths of desperation, when you think there's no way out and the situation before you seems utterly hopeless. In those very moments, when you're at your lowest, when you feel like giving up, that's when Saint Anthony's power is at its brightest, at its strongest. Take Maria from Brazil, for instance. She was facing the terrifying prospect of eviction. 3 months behind on rent, she found herself with an eviction notice in hand and nowhere to turn. In her despair, she knelt and prayed the miracle prayer to Saint Anthony, asking for help in her time of need. The very next day, a miracle unfolded. Her estranged brother, whom she hadn't spoken to in over 5 years, reached out. He had been thinking of her and feeling compelled to help. He paid her overdue rent and even helped her secure a better job. It was an unexpected turn of events. But was it a coincidence? Saint Anthony doesn't deal in coincidences. His power works in ways that are so perfectly timed that they can only be understood as divine intervention. James from Canada faced a similar crisis. He had been unemployed for months, his savings drained, and his hope completely shattered. One day, he prayed to Saint Anthony through tears, desperately asking for help. 3 days later, he received a call from a company he had never heard of about a job he had never applied for. They had somehow received his resume through a mutual connection they couldn't even identify. He was offered the job, and it came with a salary that doubled what he had been making before. It may seem like a stroke of luck, but to those who believe, this is Saint Anthony at work. Just like Maria's situation, James's miracle came through a sequence of events that appeared to happen naturally. Yet they were so perfectly orchestrated they could only be explained by divine intervention. Sarah, from Australia, had been told by doctors that she would never be able to have children. After 3 years of trying, she and her husband were on the verge of losing all hope. In her desperation, Sarah began praying the miracle prayer to Saint Anthony every day for 30 days. On the 31st day, she learned she was pregnant, something her doctor called medically unexplainable. The joy and wonder that filled her heart could only be described as a miracle. These stories, Maria, James, and Sarah, are not isolated cases. They are examples of how Saint Anthony specializes in bringing about miraculous changes in what seem like the most hopeless situations. His divine intervention often comes in ways that feel so natural, yet they carry a profound sense of the extraordinary. Saint Anthony's ability to help in desperate times isn't limited to small favors. He has a special grace for those who are facing life's most challenging and impossible obstacles. It is in those times that we must place our trust in Him. Are you struggling with a seemingly hopeless situation? Do you find yourself in a place where you feel like there's no way out? Don't lose heart. Turn to Saint Anthony. Offer up your prayer, putting your trust fully in Him, and be ready to witness the miracle unfold. As you wait for your own miracle, remember that divine timing is part of the journey. Whether it's on the 13th of the month, or on a Tuesday, or when you feel your lowest. Trust that Saint Anthony's intervention is at hand. Take heart and wait in hope. Your miracle might just be closer than you think. What if your prayer is not answered right away? There are moments when you find yourself in a place of despair, yearning for a miracle, and you turn to Saint Anthony of Padua with the deepest faith and hope in your heart. You pour out your soul in prayer, trusting that through his intercession, your plea will be heard. And yet, the answer you receive isn't what you expected. The road ahead may seem unclear, the solution to your struggles distant, and doubts may creep into your mind. You may wonder, does this mean my prayer didn't work? Did Saint Anthony not hear me? Is my faith in vain? Let me assure you, this is not the case. The miracle prayer to Saint Anthony is powerful, but sometimes the results take unexpected forms, and what may initially appear as unanswered prayer is, in fact, part of a larger divine plan. Take the story of Thomas from Ireland, for example. He had built a business from the ground up and prayed fervently to Saint Anthony every day, asking for a miracle to save it from the brink of bankruptcy. For 2 months, he placed his trust in prayer, but despite his efforts, his business failed. Angry, heartbroken, and at his wits' end, Thomas felt his faith faltering, believing that he had been abandoned. But 6 months later, something incredible happened. He received a job offer from a company that paid him 3 times what his failed business had ever earned. The bankruptcy had set him free from a situation that was limiting him, opening the door to a much brighter future. Saint Anthony's miracle wasn't about saving a business that was no longer meant to be. It was about guiding Thomas toward something even better, something he couldn't have seen in his moment of struggle. This is how Saint Anthony's intercession works. Sometimes it's not about giving you what you think you need, but rather protecting you from what you want, so you can receive what you truly need. And there's more. When your prayers seem to go unanswered, it's important to remember that God may be preparing something greater for you, something that requires time, patience, and faith. Rachel from Texas knew this all too well. She prayed earnestly for her husband to find work, and every month, she watched him attend interview after interview, only to face disappointment. Her heart grew heavy with doubt, and she wondered if her prayers were in vain. Then, one day, her husband was offered a job in another state, a position that not only provided for their family but opened doors to opportunities they never could have imagined. What seemed like a long and painful delay was, in fact, God's way of preparing them for something far beyond what they had initially hoped for. Sometimes, the miracle you seek requires more time because the divine plan unfolding for you is far grander than you can imagine. This is the truth of Saint Anthony's miracles. They are not bound by time, expectations, or the limitations of our understanding. They are guided by a higher wisdom, one that sees beyond the immediate and into the future of your life. When you pray to Saint Anthony, you are not only seeking intervention for your urgent need, but you are also placing your trust in God's perfect timing, even when it feels like nothing is happening, even when you face disappointment and struggle. Know that Saint Anthony's intercession is powerful. Through his prayers, you are being guided, protected, and prepared for a miracle that will exceed your expectations. Do not give up hope, my dear friend. Trust in Saint Anthony and in the divine timing of your prayers. Even in the moments of waiting, know that something greater is unfolding. Under the protection of Saint Anthony, your faith will be rewarded in ways you may not yet understand, but in ways that will bring about the transformation you seek. I encourage you to hold fast, for miracles are often just beyond the horizon, and your trust in Saint Anthony is the bridge to that wondrous change. Keep praying, keep believing, and watch how your life will shift in miraculous ways, as God's grace works in ways beyond your understanding. What to do while you wait. When you're waiting for a miracle, it's essential to remember that Saint Anthony is interceding for you every day, and your prayers are not going unheard. Heaven is working tirelessly on your behalf in ways you may not even see. But there's something crucial you must do while you wait. Faith is not just about passive hoping. It requires action. You're not simply waiting for something magical to happen. You are partnering with heaven to create the right conditions for your miracle to unfold. So, as you continue praying to Saint Anthony, keep your eyes open for unexpected opportunities that may come your way. Saint Anthony has a way of opening doors, often in surprising and seemingly unrelated ways, perhaps through a job offer from an unexpected source, a phone call from someone you hadn't heard from in years, or an idea that seems to appear out of nowhere. These are not coincidences. They are divine interventions orchestrated by Saint Anthony, creating pathways for your miracle to manifest. When these opportunities appear, don't hesitate to step out in faith. Too many people pray for miracles only to reject the very opportunities that are sent their way, simply because they don't match their expectations. Remember, Saint Anthony himself was redirected from his original mission of becoming a martyr in Morocco. What seemed like a failure at the time was actually part of God's better plan. As you wait, one of the most powerful things you can do is to help others. Show compassion to those in need, even while you're still waiting for your own breakthrough. There's something profound about blessing others during your own time of waiting. Saint Anthony is especially moved by acts of kindness and mercy. This isn't about trying to earn your miracle, but rather about positioning your heart to be open and ready to receive it. So, consider how you can serve others while you're still in the midst of your own challenges. Helping someone else in a small way can create a spiritual environment that's ripe for your own blessing to manifest. And as you go through this process, remember that each step you take in faith, no matter how small, brings you closer to the miracle you've been waiting for. How can you make a difference in someone else's life today, even while you are waiting for your own breakthrough? Now, for something powerful that has changed lives for thousands of people. The 30-day Saint Anthony Miracle Challenge. This challenge encourages you to pray the powerful miracle prayer to Saint Anthony every single day for the next 30 days. But it's not just about saying words. It's about building a deep relationship with Saint Anthony and creating spiritual momentum that draws you closer to your miracle. Here's how it works. For the first 10 days, you pray the miracle prayer with your specific request in mind, while keeping track of any unusual thoughts, feelings, or occurrences. Day 11 to day 20 continues with the prayer. But now you add acts of kindness toward others. Become Saint Anthony's hands and feet, helping those around you with love and compassion. On day 21 today, 30, you continue praying and serving others, but also start thanking Saint Anthony in advance for the miracle you believe is coming. This is what faith in action looks like, trusting that God is working even when you don't see the results yet. However, the most critical part of the challenge is on day 30. Regardless of whether you've seen your specific miracle materialize by this point, you are going to publicly thank Saint Anthony, share your testimony about how these 30 days of prayer, service, and faith have changed your heart, your mindset, or even your circumstances. This public acknowledgement is vital because it shows the kind of unwavering faith that moves heaven. It shows that you believe in the power of Saint Anthony's intercession, even when you can't yet see the full picture. Are you ready to take the 30-day challenge and commit to praying the miracle prayer every day, trusting in Saint Anthony's powerful intercession? If you're ready to take that step of faith, say, "I'm in," and join others in this life-changing journey. Remember, the miracle you've been waiting for might be closer than you think, and through your faith in action, you're already setting the stage for it to unfold. Signs: Saint Anthony is interceding for you. When you find yourself in the depths of despair, when your heart is heavy and your hope seems all but lost, remember that Saint Anthony of Padua is always near, ready to intercede on your behalf. He understands the struggles that weigh on your soul, and though the road may seem difficult, the miracle you long for is within reach as you seek his divine intervention. Keep your heart open and watch for the signs that he is working in your life. The first of these signs is unexpected peace. In the midst of your turmoil, when everything around you screams chaos, you may feel an unusual calm that washes over you. You should be panicking, you should be anxious, yet there you stand with a quiet assurance. This is no coincidence. It is Saint Anthony's presence, comforting you as heaven orchestrates the miracle you need. You must trust that the peace you feel is the beginning of a profound change, one that will shift the course of your life. Another sign to watch for is the sudden, almost inexplicable appearance of the number 13. It may show up in addresses, times, phone numbers, or receipts. Wherever you look, it will catch your eye. Saint Anthony's feast day falls on June 13th, and he is honored on the 13th of every month. When the number 13 becomes a constant presence in your life, it is his way of reminding you that he is at work, guiding you through your darkest hours and bringing you closer to the breakthrough you seek. Pay attention, for these occurrences are not mere coincidences but messages of hope. Another sign to be aware of is the sudden surge of insight that seems to come from nowhere. If solutions and ideas you hadn't considered before begin to arise, this is Saint Anthony's guidance. He doesn't just bring miraculous changes, he also bestows wisdom to help you navigate your trials. These newfound ideas are not random. They are the answers you've been searching for, hidden within your heart, now illuminated by divine light. In the same way, you might begin to notice others mentioning Saint Anthony to you, family, friends, even strangers, without any prompting from you. When this happens, it is no accident. It's a sign that he is working behind the scenes, orchestrating events to bring you the peace and resolution you desperately need. Trust that the people who speak his name are instruments of divine intervention, echoing the message of hope that is being woven into your life. And then, there's the small but powerful sign of finding things that you had lost. Saint Anthony is renowned for helping recover lost items. But when you find these small things, whether it's a misplaced wallet, a missing key, or even something insignificant, it is more than just a simple return of the lost. It is a sign that he is preparing to restore something far greater in your life, something that you may have believed was beyond reach. Finally, the most unmistakable sign of all that your miracle is approaching is when multiple opportunities begin to appear before you, seemingly all at once. It's as if doors that were once locked are suddenly wide open, offering you numerous paths forward. This is no accident. This is Saint Anthony clearing the way, aligning opportunities and circumstances so that your breakthrough becomes unstoppable. These multiple avenues are a sign that your miracle is drawing near, that you are on the cusp of experiencing a transformation so profound. It will change the course of your life. Have you noticed any of these signs? If so, hold on to them with unwavering faith, for they are the whispers of Saint Anthony, reminding you that divine intervention is not only possible, it is already on its way. As you wait, remain patient but hopeful, for your breakthrough is closer than you think, and your trust in his intercession will be richly rewarded. Advanced prayer methods for dramatic results. In times of despair, when your soul is heavy with anxiety and your heart is burdened by hopelessness, the powerful intercession of Saint Anthony of Padua can offer the comfort, strength, and divine assistance you so desperately seek. In these moments, when time feels like it's slipping away and the weight of your struggle seems unbearable, you must remember that Saint Anthony is not only the saint of the lost, but also the miraculous helper of the desperate. His connection to God is one of unmatched potency, and through his powerful prayers, countless lives have been transformed in the most dramatic and awe-inspiring ways. If you find yourself in a situation so urgent that you feel as though every door is closing and no path forward remains, do not lose hope. There is a way, and that way is through the intercession of Saint Anthony, a saint who is renowned for performing miracles, especially when one's need is most urgent. When your prayer must be strengthened and intensified because the stakes are high, you may find solace in prayer methods that have delivered life-changing results for others who were once in the very same position you are now. Among these powerful methods is the novena to Saint Anthony, a sacred prayer that spans 9 consecutive days and calls upon his miraculous intervention. Each day, as you recite this prayer, you open your heart to Saint Anthony's powerful intercession and invite the grace of God to enter your life in ways that you cannot yet imagine. During these 9 days, say with confidence and faith, "Glorious Saint Anthony, you who receive from God the special grace of finding the lost and aiding the distressed, I turn to you in my urgent need. My situation cannot wait. My need cannot be delayed. I beg you to intercede for me now with the same power that worked miracles during your earthly life. You know my desperation. You see my tears. You understand my fear. But you also know God's unlimited power and mercy. Present my petition before the throne of grace, and do not let me be disappointed. Saint Anthony, I place my complete trust in your intercession. Work the miracle I need, and I promise to proclaim God's goodness through your powerful prayers. Amen." Each word carries an energy of hope, of pleading, but also of unwavering trust in the saint's ability to bring about divine change. And when your heart feels particularly fragile, and your mind is overcome with the weight of your circumstances, there is the Saint Anthony Emergency Prayer. This prayer, specifically for moments of overwhelming urgency, calls upon the saint like no other. It is a cry from your very soul, asking for immediate and powerful intervention in a time of crisis. In these moments, when there is no time to waste and no earthly solution seems forthcoming, you can turn to Saint Anthony with full confidence. Saint Anthony, this is an emergency. I cannot wait for the normal course of events. I need divine intervention, and I need it now. You are the saint of miracles, the patron of urgent causes, the friend of the desperate. I remind you of your promise to never abandon those who call upon you. I am calling upon you now with all the faith I can muster. My back is against the wall. My options are exhausted. My time is running out. Work the miracle that only God can work. Move the mountain that only faith can move. Open the door that only heaven can open. Saint Anthony, I am counting on you. Do not let me down. Amen. This prayer is not for the faint of heart, for it requires your trust in Saint Anthony to be so resolute, so complete, that you are ready to receive the miracle you seek with open arms, no matter how it might arrive. It is a call for immediate action from the heavens, and it will never go unheard when spoken with genuine faith and a heart full of trust. However, as with all things in life, the power of prayer is not just about the words you speak, it's about the intention behind those words. If you desire to experience the miracles that Saint Anthony is capable of delivering, it is vital to understand the common mistakes that can hinder your prayers. One of the most detrimental errors is praying with doubt mixed in with your faith. Doubt is the greatest enemy of prayer, for it weakens the connection between your soul and the divine. When you pray, ensure that you do so with an unwavering belief that your plea will be answered. If you pray, "Saint Anthony, please help me, but I don't know if you really can," you are unknowingly blocking the flow of grace, for faith and doubt cannot coexist. Likewise, never give up on your prayer too soon. Sometimes God's timing is different from our own, and persistence in prayer is vital. Saint Anthony often works in God's time, not ours. Trust that when you persist, your prayer will be answered, even if it takes longer than you expect. Another grave mistake is forgetting to thank Saint Anthony when your prayers are answered, when your miracle arrives. Take a moment to express your gratitude, for to do otherwise would be to sever the flow of future blessings. Saint Anthony has interceded on your behalf, and acknowledging that is crucial for maintaining the connection that will continue to open doors for you. Additionally, remember that the most powerful prayers are those that consider not just your needs, but the needs of others as well. The more generous you are in your prayers, the more miracles you will see. Selfishness in prayer can limit the divine intervention that is available to you. Furthermore, avoid the mistake of telling God exactly how to answer your prayer. When you specify how your miracle should happen, you may miss the opportunity for something far better to come your way. Trust that God knows the best way to answer your prayer, even if it doesn't happen exactly as you imagined. Perhaps the most important lesson to learn in your journey of prayer is to release any unforgiveness you may be harboring in your heart. Holding on to resentment, anger, or bitterness towards others blocks the flow of grace into your life. If there is someone you need to forgive, someone who has hurt you, betrayed you, or disappointed you, do it now. Release them, not for their sake, but for yours, so that your prayers may be answered. When you forgive, you free yourself from the chains that bind you, and your heart becomes a vessel for miracles. Take a moment right now to forgive anyone who has wronged you. Say their name and declare, "I forgive you and release you. I will not let your actions block my miracle. My breakthrough is coming." As you prepare for your miracle, both spiritually and practically, remember that this journey is not only about receiving a blessing for yourself, it is also about being ready to use that blessing to help others. If you are praying for a job, update your resume and prepare for interviews. If you are praying for financial stability, organize your finances and prepare to manage them wisely. If you are praying for healing, take steps to find the best care and prepare to receive treatment. Faith without works is dead, but works without faith are meaningless. You must be prepared for your miracle in every way, spiritually, emotionally, and practically. so that when it arrives, you are ready to receive it with open arms. Your miracle is not just for you, it is also for those who will hear your testimony. As you wait for your breakthrough, begin to think about how you will share your story when it comes. How will you give glory to God and honor to Saint Anthony? Your testimony will inspire others to seek miracles of their own. It will be a beacon of hope for those who are also struggling. And in doing so, you will continue the cycle of miracles. This is the journey you are on, and it's one that will not end in disappointment. If you have made it this far in reading, take it as a sign that your breakthrough is very close. Trust in Saint Anthony. Trust in God's timing. Your miracle is on its way, and it is waiting to transform your life in ways that you cannot yet imagine. Stay strong, stay hopeful, and never stop believing.